25. Recreate yourself. Judgment. Do not accept the roles that society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. Incorporate dramatic devices into your public gestures and actions. Your power will be enhanced and your character will seem larger than life. Observance of the law. 1. Julius Caesar made his first mark on Roman society in 65 BC when he assumed the post of aedile, the official in charge of grain distribution and public games. He began his entrance into the public eye by organizing a series of carefully crafted and well-timed spectacles, wild beast hunts, extravagant gladiator shows, theatrical contests. On several occasions, he paid for these spectacles out of his own pocket. To the common man, Julius Caesar became indelibly associated with these much-loved events. As he slowly rose to attain the position of consul, his popularity among the masses served as the foundation of his power. He had created an image of himself as a great public showman. In 49 BC, Rome was on the brink of a civil war between rival leaders Caesar and Pompey. At the height of the tension, Caesar, an addict of the stage, attended a theatrical performance and afterward, lost in thought, he wandered in the darkness back to his camp at the Rubicon, the river that divides Italy from Gaul, where he had been campaigning. To march his army back into Italy across the Rubicon would mean the beginning of a war with Pompey. Before his staff, Caesar argued both sides, forming the options like an actor on stage, a precursor of Hamlet. Finally, to put his soliloquy to an end, he pointed to a seemingly innocent apparition at the edge of the river, a very tall soldier blasting a call on a trumpet, then going across a bridge over the Rubicon and pronounced, "Let us accept this as a sign from the gods and follow where they beacon in vengeance of our double-dealing enemies. The die is cast." All of this he spoke portentously and dramatically, gesturing towards the river and looking his generals in the eye. He knew that these generals were uncertain in their support, but his oratory overwhelmed them with a sense of the drama of the moment and of the need to seize the time. A more prosaic speech would never have had the same effect. The generals rallied to his cause. Caesar and his army crossed the Rubicon, and by the following year had vanquished Pompey, making Caesar dictator of Rome. In warfare, Caesar always played the leading man with gusto. He was as skilled a horseman as any of his soldiers and took pride in outdoing them in feats of bravery and endurance. He entered battle astride the strongest mount so that his soldiers would see him in the thick of battle, urging them on, always positioning himself in the center, a godlike symbol of power and a model for them to follow. Of all the armies in Rome, Caesar's was the most devoted and loyal. His soldiers, like the common people who had attended his entertainments, had come to identify him and with his cause. After the defeat of Pompey, the entertainments grew in scale. Nothing like them had ever been seen in Rome. The chariot races became more spectacular, the gladiator fights more dramatic, as Caesar staged fights to the death among the Roman nobility. He organized enormous mock naval battles on an artificial lake. Plays were performed in every Roman ward. A giant new theater was built that sloped down the Tartanian rock. Crowds from all over the empire flocked to these events. The roads to Rome lined with visitors' tents, and in 45 BC, timing his entry into the city for a maximum effect and surprise, Caesar brought Cleopatra back to Rome after his Egyptian campaign and staged even more extravagant public spectacles. These events were more than devices to divert the masses. They dramatically enhanced the public sense of Caesar's character and made him seem larger than life. Caesar was the master of his public image, of which he was forever aware. When he appeared before crowds, he wore the most spectacular purple robes. He would be upstaged by no one. He was notoriously vain about his appearance. It was said that one reason he enjoyed being honored by the Senate and people was that on these occasions he could wear a laurel wreath hiding his baldness. Caesar was a masterful orator. He knew how to say a lot by saying a little. Intuited the moment to end a speech for maximum effect. He never failed to incorporate a surprise into his public appearances, a startling announcement that would heighten their drama. Immensely popular among the Roman people, Caesar was hated and feared by his rivals. On the Ides of March 15, in the year 44 BC, a group of conspirators led by Brutus and Cassius surrounded him in the Senate and stabbed him to death. Even dying, however, he kept his sense of drama. Drawing the top of his gown over his face, he let go of the cloth's lower part so that it draped his leg, allowing him to die covered and decent. According to the Roman historian Suetonius, his final words to his old friend Brutus, who was about to deliver a second blow, were in Greek and as if rehearsed for the end of a play. You too, my child.